Every pond, big, small, muddy, even featureless, have areas bass use all the time. Today I'll show you exactly what they look like so you can find and target them in your ponds. Spot 1. Shallow cover next to deeper water. This is the more obvious stuff. Here's a shoreline with laydowns, lily pads, and grass. All of it can hold bass. But there's a better spot in this stretch than the rest. This laydown here has lily pads growing around it. Let's call it double cover. Even without deeper water nearby, anytime multiple forms of cover meet, that's a high percentage area. But having a drop off close by is a huge bonus. Bass use the shallow cover to feed and love having a short swim to deeper water when conditions change. And the cover closest to the deeper water usually holds the bigger bass. They always hog the best spots. If you only fish one area on a pond, fish where a shallow cover meets a quick depth change. Now for the less obvious version, it's the offshore humps. Sometimes you can't see them at all. In warmer months, you might see the tips of grass or random patches of lily pads out in the middle of nowhere. But if vegetation doesn't reach the surface, here's how to find these humps. You can tie a crankbait on like a DT8 or whatever depth you need for your pond, fan cast, and the moment you slam into weeds or the ground when you didn't for several casts, boom, you found it. And of course, electronics make this easier, but the end result is the same. Shallow structure surrounded by deeper water equals a bass magnet. Spot 2. Wind-blown banks and corners. Anytime you have sustained wind in one direction, fish the shorelines the wind is blowing into. Wind pushes around the plankton, plankton attracts bait fish attract bass. That chain reaction is one of the most reliable patterns in pond fishing. But the part some people might overlook is the corners. With certain wind direction, bass will sit in that small calm pocket right beside where the wind is hitting hard and the water is cruising by, waiting for bait to get pushed to them. And a quick thing, if these pond tips are helping, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next video. And if you want to support the channel directly, there's a join button below. Memberships go a long way in helping me make more videos like this, so thank you if you decide to jump in. Spot 3. Points. Points show up in a bunch of forms. Land points. The obvious ones. Points made by the shoreline or by the islands. Steeper drops, even better. Bass use these areas to trap bait against the bank. The less obvious ones, the underwater land points. They can be anywhere, and if you find one, fish all around it, the high spot, the low spot, and the drop-offs. Treat it like it's a point right off the bank. And vegetation points. If you have grass that reaches the surface, you can literally see where it forms a point. Those are guaranteed casting targets. And lily pad points. If you're in a big field of pads that look all the same, zoom in on one edge and look for any pads that stick out further than the rest. Another guaranteed casting target. Spot 4. Double cover and something different. Remember in spot 1 when I mentioned the double cover? Anytime lily pads mix with wood, or grass mixes with rock, or anything blends into something else, that's a key spot. Save your best casts for those areas. If you find yourself inside a big field of pads or grass, look for anything that's different that stands out, like a thicker patch, a taller clump, a small open hole, a change in the grass type. Those micro differences are where pond bass love to be. And a bonus, the pad stalks in cold water. In late fall and early winter, if your pond doesn't have a lot of hard cover, but it used to have lily pads, those leftover pad stalks become prime real estate. They're one of the only sources of vertical hard cover left, and the muck under the pads holds heat. This keeps both baitfish and bass in the area. And bottom transitions. Hard bottom meeting mud or sand, rock transitioning into muck. These lanes are overlooked high percentage areas as well. And last, for those featureless ponds, there's still hope for you because although you may not see any of it, there's definitely some hidden features in these ponds. It can be as simple as a mini point off the bank, a stretch of shoreline that's deeper than the rest, a random ditch, a drop off, no matter how slight. Bass will find some anomaly to relate to and use it. So keep an eye out for these key spots: shallow cover near deep water, wind blown banks, points, double cover, bottom transitions, and pad stalks in cold water. These areas will maximize your success on every pond that you fish. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.